Well, hello, children and families. I'm Jane Stavem, the Superintendent of the Sioux Falls School District, and I'm so glad you've joined me. Today, we are going to read a story together in honor of National Read Aloud Day, and I also have some important information for you as you begin thinking forward to next fall. Today, I've chosen a couple of books. They are some of my favorites, and the first one is called Snowmen at Night. Now, if you've been out in the snow, you might have made a snowman, and strangely enough, he might have looked just a little bit different the next day. This is one of my favorite books by Carolyn Buhner, and it's illustrated by Mark Buhner, Snowmen at Night. One wintry day, I made a snowman very round and tall. The next day when I saw him, he was not the same at all. His hat had slipped. His arms drooped down. He really looked a fright. Made me start to wonder, what do snowmen do at night? I think that snowmen start to slide when it gets really dark, off the lawn and down the street, right into the park. They gather in a circle while they wait for all the others, sipping cups of ice-cold cocoa made by snowman mothers. Then the snowman games begin. They line up in their places, each one anxious for his turn in the snowman races. After everyone has had a chance at racing once or twice, they go on over to the pond and do skating tricks on ice. Sometimes they start giggling, and then they act like clowns. They bump into each other till they all fall down. They gather up their snowballs, the pitcher takes his aim, and underneath the moonlit sky, they play their baseball games. No one knows just how it started, but soon it's quite a sight, with snowmen throwing snowballs in the world's best snowball fight. Then it's time for sledding. It's a wild ride down the hill. Woo, they yell. This is by far the snowmen's biggest thrill. Finally, they're tuckered out and getting sleepy, so they slowly gather up their things, and one by one they go. So if your snowman's grin is crooked, or he's lost a little height, you'll know he's just been doing what snowmen do at night. Another one of my favorite books is Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andrade and Guy Parker Reese. This is a fun one to read if you're wondering what you're really good at. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awful bandy and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing and rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango, which was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all laughed. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool." "Oh, Gerald, don't be daft." Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on, "but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that that lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music, if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles in the ground. His neck was gently swaying and his tail was swishing round. He threw his arms out sideways and he swung them everywhere, and then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I'm dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing!" Gerald cried. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." "How is it you can dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twizzled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." That's a great story. We're looking forward to seeing our kindergartners next fall. So if you know a student who has turned 5 by September 1st, we want you to go to our website, the Sioux Falls School District website. Look on the left side for families and click there, and you'll find all the information you need to register your child. If you know somebody else who has a kindergarten student, make sure you tell them to register their child. Then you'll start to receive information from your home school about everything you need to know to join us next fall for kindergarten.